Hey guys, this is a quick video that's going to walk you through some of the uses for classes, CSS and HTML classes inside of your project. So I'm going to first talk about how to use classes potentially to position the links inside your navigation, as well as potentially for changing the position of images or paragraphs within your project. So the first thing we're going to potentially solve for here is our links. Right now, our links really don't have any spacing or padding, in between them. And I want to talk about a couple of ways that we can do this. One would be jumping into the style sheet here. And I'm going to look for my links. They're probably down here at the bottom. Yep, there they are. I'm going to actually call out to my links as a quick example, not by using a visited or hover or link state, because I'm not really interested in controlling the way that they look when the user is like rolling over them. Rather, I want to position them. So I'm going to show you one example here, just using the A tag. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put margins on the left-hand side of each of these, but it's not necessarily the best way to do it. I want you to kind of see like why, and then we'll use a class to fix the issue. So if I were to put, let's say, a left margin of, oh, I don't know, I'll put a big value like, or actually it's not left margin, it's margin left. There we go, margin left, okay, of 50 pixels. I want you to see what that looks like. I'm going to just save this and we'll come on over here and we'll refresh. And that's wonderful. It does put the 50 pixels of spacing or margins in between these, but it's also doing it here to all of these, right? Including the homepage link. So this is actually getting pushed over 50 pixels as well, meaning that they're not quite centered anymore. They're all sort of shifted over. So what if I just wanted to put the margins on the three links here, for page 1, page 2, page 3. Let's talk about how we would potentially do that so that, so that home is not getting pushed over anymore, just these three are. Okay. So we would do that in a little bit of a different way. We would do that by going into our HTML and adding a class to the three links for, for page 1, page 2, and page 3. Actually, I'm going to just change the text in here. I know this was kind of confusing from last week. There we go. Page 2, page 3, page 4. So I'm going to do that here right after the A tag. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a class. And we can name the class whatever we'd like. Again, remember a few rules. We don't want to begin with a number. You can have a number in there, but you don't want to begin with a number. You don't want any spaces in your class name, and you don't want any special characters. So I'm just going to go ahead and I like to call my links something that is descriptive. So I'm going to call this, I don't know, like link position. Okay. So notice that I'm doing no spaces, but a capital P. That's referred to as camel casing. It's a great way to visually tell the difference between the two words without adding a space. You can certainly use a dash or an underscore if you prefer. But I'm going to want to have that same class here on my other three links as well, so that whatever I code in my style sheet to position those, it's only affecting these three links and not this one here. Okay. So again, the class name was link position. I'm just going to copy that so I don't like misspell anything here. And I'll pop over here. And instead of doing this with the A tag like I was a moment ago, we're going to do it with a class, calling out to that link position class. Now in a style sheet, remember that you have to begin your classes with a dot and then the name. Okay. So this now will only affect the left margin of the links where we have the link position class set up. Okay. So if we save this and we come on back over here and we refresh this, there we go. So it's only applying the spacing here to these three links and not the home. We don't want that to also get pushed over. And the nice thing about this is, of course, you can tweak it, you can change it. If you look at 50 and you say to yourself, maybe I want some additional spacing. Maybe I want 100 pixel spacing. It's cool. You can totally make that happen. So I will, modify that just so you guys can see this. We'll refresh. There we go. All right. So a really good question was asked via email this week, and that was how to adjust positions of images. So I already have one image in here, and this image is full width. I'm not going to adjust that position. But I did have an image in Photoshop here that I just saved for the web. And I'm going to go ahead and use that. Since it's smaller, I can show you guys how to do left align, right align, and center aligning on these. The thing I want to do real quick is I just want to jot down what the height and width of this image is so that I can plug that into the HTML. So quick and easy way to do that in Photoshop, just to see the height and width, is to go to image and image size. And you can see right here in pixels, this image is, and I'm just going to jot this down, this is 640 pixels by 427 pixels. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce back over then to Visual Studio Code. And let's go ahead and first insert that image. I'll do it here in my content area after my last paragraph. So this is something you guys have seen before. We can go ahead and do an image source. And let's see, that's in the images folder. And it was called Home Clouds 2. I'll add an alt tag to that. And let's get our height and our width in there as well. So the width was 640. Remember, in HTML, no pixels, just the actual number value, and that was what, 427. And I will close that. Okay, so here's the deal. If I were to control the position of this image right now, the way that style sheets work, of course, is that it's going to affect all of the images. So I might not want that. Maybe I just want this particular image, maybe to be right aligned. So this is, again, going to be a really nice example of when we use a class. So I'm going to make a class here. I'm going to go ahead and call this class right align, because that's what it's going to do. So again, we can make those names up. I just prefer to make them, maybe let's even call this right align image, possibly. So again, I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Let's take a look at what it looks like before I style it, so you can see again what the issue is that we're trying to solve for. So I'll save this, bounce back over to the browser, refresh. So by default, our images are left aligned, right? That's something, again, that we know. And if you want your image to be left aligned, cool, there's nothing to do here. It's already doing its thing. But let's say you want to break that order and you want to change the alignment of it. So the way that we do that is in our style sheet. So again, I'm going to make in my style, define the way that this class should act. I'll do this in the bottom. So again, it's a class. We have to start with a dot, class name, and then of course its properties. So in this case, we are going to use a margin left. We're going to set it to auto. And I know that kind of seems a little counterintuitive, like why are we calling out to margin left and making it auto? That will right align the image. I'll show you in a moment what right align does. You can actually combine these things and do some things like centering. But let's just save that. Let's take a look at what it actually does here for us. So that's saved. Come on back over here, refresh, and we're doing something wrong here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, I have to define that as what's called a, I have to define its display as well. So I have to set the display of this. So let's see. We have to set the display of this to block. That will tell it to act like, they'll tell it to act like there are units in HTML and CSS that can act as blocks. A block is more or less a container. Not that we're using this image as a container, but once you set it to act as a block, then it will respond to positioning. Okay, maybe that's a better way to put it. So I will save that, test this out and give it a save. And there we go. And you can see that it's right aligned now. So again, not a bad thing that you actually saw that, that error happening there. So that would be how you would right align something. Okay. Let me show you as well how to center something. I think that would be valuable for you guys to see. So maybe we change this class to this one. I'll call it center align image. class for that. And the cool thing about this right align image is I can recycle that, right? I can use that class anytime that I want to right align another image. I can just add that class to that particular image tag. But here we'll go ahead and we'll do a center align image. Now, again, we do have to set the display to block. And this time we're going to go ahead and set the margin left to auto. And we're also going to set the margin right to auto. This would be how you would center images or block elements. Cool. Let's save that. Again, we'll test her out. Something on there. Let's see. Let's see. Things I'm checking for. I'm looking for the spelling. Spelling looks good. Make sure I'm saving. Okay, let's just take a look here and make sure that same as this, it should be. Save that one more time. Test her out. Something is going amiss there. Not sure what. Let's see. Looking good. Everything's actually looking good. I'm not sure what the issue is. But here, let's kind of rebuild this thing. I'm going to take that out. What I should be seeing now when we refresh is it going back to left aligned. So that's cool. That's back to where it should be. So again, I'm going to go ahead and add that class. Let's do the center align. Other things I'm looking at, I want to make sure that this one is closed. It is. Let's see if it's doing anything at all here for us. I'm going to take that margin left out just for a moment. I'll save that. We'll see if it's even responding. So no, it's not. So right now there's an issue with this thing communicating with our HTML. Let's see. I'm just curious. I'm going to set it back to right align. Sorry about this, guys. This is an easy thing to do. I'm not sure why it's not quite acting the way it should. Okay, cool. So it's totally listening to that. I'm going to just try something real quick. I'm just curious. There's probably something wrong with my name. I'm going to go ahead and set the margin right in here to auto. I'm just curious to see if it responds the way that it should. So this should center now at this point. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, there was clearly something wrong with the way that I typed this out. Let's go ahead and just for the heck of it. I'm curious. I'll change this inside of here then as well. Okay. Yeah, cool. So I'll play around with that and see why that was not working for me. I'm not quite sure, but at least now you've got an example of that. So again, you can do a center align image, or right align image, and again, centering would be setting the left and right margins both to auto, and doing a right align image, we would be setting the margin left to auto. So hopefully this helps. Again, you can use classes for all sorts of things, and really the purpose of using them would be potentially when you want to treat a specific element differently than other elements. Again, this can be used for images, can be used for paragraphs, can even be used for containers. So hopefully that helps a bit. And as always, guys, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. All right.